And the average yield of corn was about 25 bushel per acre in 1860, and it hadn't changed in another 70 years. Gone up just slightly, very, very little. When hybrid corn came in, the first few years, actually the yields went down because of that huge drought that covered a large part of the country. So in the middle 30s, the average actually dropped, even though we were beginning to use hybrid corn. But the average dropped. But then for the next, well, since then, on the average, we've increased a little over 100 bushel per acre. So there's been a better than average increase of a bushel per acre per year. And that hasn't been uniform either. The first 20 years of hybrid corn, we were in what we call double cross hybrids. Hybrid corn are crosses of inbred lines, okay? Lines that have been inbred for a period of 6 or 7 years. And during the course of that inbreeding, they become pure lines, but they also become much less vigorous and low yielding. So you cross two of these low yielding inbreds together, each one might yield 20 bushel per acre or something like that. But when you made that cross and planted the seed, the yield was 100 bushel per acre. So there was a huge genetic explosion that happened with when those two lines were crossed. 1904 is when the first discovery was made of this genetic explosion they called hybrid vigor. The two are planted in the same field, side by side. The one line is detasseled. The male part is the tassel, and that is pulled off by hand, and so that there's no tassel or no pollen that's produced on that line. So the one line becomes the male parent, the other line becomes the female parent, and the only pollen that's in the field then comes from inbred bee. So when that seed is harvested, then only the female is harvested, and that is used as a seed parent. It took until 1917 when somebody figured out how to put 4 inbreds together, cross 2 inbreds together that were low yielding to produce a high yielding single cross, and 2 other inbreds together to produce another high yielding single cross, and cross those 2 together to produce what we call a 4-way cross or a double cross. And that's what farmers were using. That made hybrid corn practical when Henry Wallace decided to go into the seed business in 1926.